If it's October, every day is Tuesday's Tip Day at the Legacy Virtual Users Group community here on Google+, as we celebrate Family History Month. Today, we're going to showcase a feature in Legacy known as Quantities in Family File. We're going to discuss where to find all those statistics and master lists, and then I'm going to use my own family file to show you the wages of genealogy sin, which is basically not adding my source citations while I did my research. Today, for purposes of an example in Legacy, we have my 6th great-grandparents front and center, Niels Larsen and Karin Engelsbrecht's daughter. Both lived their entire lives in Värmland, Sweden. They married in 1726. My families don't arrive in North America until the late 1800s and early 1900s. It makes for lots of interesting research and fascinating documents in foreign languages. Now, let's get started. On the File ribbon, click on File Properties. And up pops your family file information. This is one of the places to come and check 3 specific areas: general information, who the Legacy program is licensed to, the version of Legacy, and the build date, as well as the customer number. File information, where your file folder as well as your Legacy folder is located on your computer, as well as the latest update. As you can see, I'm up to date. And content information. This is the fun part, the statistics, the number of individuals, families, surnames, locations, sources, events, media, addresses, and to-dos. And as you can see, you can print this report. The dialog box provides several options on what to include and how you want the report to read or print. This is a print preview of the report, and it's a good idea to run this each year to check your stats and keep your customer number in a file. If you want to know more about what's included in the Quantities of Family file, be sure to check the help system in Legacy and just type in the keyword Quantities. And if you use Legacy version 7.5, you can find this same information, although it's a 2-step process, by selecting Options on the Legacy toolbar and clicking on Compiler Info, and choosing Help on the Legacy toolbar and selecting General Information. But while it's interesting to see these numbers, let's remember that where our genealogy database is concerned, it's not a numbers game. Our focus should always be on quality over quantity. If you want to check the family file data behind the statistics in your Legacy program, there are a few lists or reports that we'll want to become familiar with, and most of them are located on the View ribbon, specifically the name list, the marriage list, and the master lists. Clicking on the name list brings up your total number of individuals, but it also brings up those individual files in this format. You can review the individuals in your name list by RIN, by surname, or given name, or you can break it down and work with each letter of the alphabet. As you can see, the detail, events, notes, family, and sources are all shown on the right-hand side. And you can edit your individual's information right in the name list. And if you click on your marriage list, you can sort by MRIN, husband's name, wife's name, or work through the alphabet. Highlighting the marriage shows the marriage date and place in the lower left-hand corner. Your options are shown at the bottom of the marriage list. You can edit the husband, edit the wife, or edit the marriage. The next lists to check out are the master lists, also found by choosing the View ribbon and selecting Master Lists, and you see a drop-down menu of choices is available. The Master Event Address List. If you have the mapping option open, you can verify addresses and locations for events, mailing addresses, and repositories. Various addresses will show up here: cemeteries, churches, hospitals, and other event addresses. It's a good idea to check and clean up any of your master event address lists from time to time. Now, the repository addresses are located here, and your notes can contain any information: hours of operation, special collections, and helpful tips. I often check the websites for places I research at regularly and update the repository notes every 3 to 6 months. The Master Child Status List contains some default entries, and you can add your own. Note that for any of the child statuses, you can Show List and have a report listing each child who uses or has that particular status. Turning to the Master Event Definition List, you can see that I have 102 Master Event definitions. Now, I've removed some events that we just don't use in our family file, and I've added several others. Become familiar with the legacy system. You can always edit entries on any of the master lists. You can show all the individuals in your family file who use a particular list. Those tabs or buttons are always to the right-hand side of the lists. And you can combine entries, in this case events, to remove duplicates. Perhaps you've included a misspelled event or included an event twice. Combining is a simple and quick way to clean up your master lists. When you click on Add or Edit an Event Definition, this dialog box opens. I think we've been here before. Editing your master event definitions will help you plan what to include in your event: a description, date, place, and you can make several choices and see what your edits will look like in real time. Spend some time here to improve the quality of your event definitions. Your sentences will read better, and you'll have less editing to do in your reports in the long run. Although it's great that I found the household examination records for my numerous Swedish ancestors, not including the source citations at the time is not good practice. I have a binder that contains each of these records, and the GID number is included on the record. At the time I did this research, I knew enough to get the GID number, but there really is no excuse for not putting my sources together. So today I spent a bit of time reading about how these particular records should be cited, and I think we all know what you're going to see on Saturday's video. Hint, it's the letter S. So stay tuned. As you can see, after editing the event definition, the sentence reads: Anders Håkansson was listed in the household examination record for 1790 to 1795 in Fastnäs, Norrnäs, Värmlands, Sweden, as recorded in the household examination record, and then the GID number. My notes refer to what I saw in the actual entry. The master location list is one of those lists that you need to keep up with on a regular basis, especially if you do lots of data entry. I make a point to scroll through my master location list twice a year to do any of that cleanup that might be required. Make a point to learn to edit your locations for both long form and short form, and learn to combine your duplicates. It saves you time in the long run to keep your master location list accurate. And please, no matter what format you use, 3, 4, 5, or more places in your location, spell everything out and include the country. The database is not just for you, but it's going to be for other people that you want to share your research with. The Master Marriage Status list has default options, and you can add any of your choosing. Again, the Add and Edit tabs and the Show list will help you determine who uses these statuses. If you attach media to your legacy database, know that your master media folder list shows where the media is located, and you can make any modifications right from this list. The master source list is a very personal master list. Whether you're a lumper or a splitter, whether you organize by record type or location, just have a system and be consistent, and make sure you keep it up. As you can see, I got started on entering my master source for my household examination records. I used Genlin when I did the research, and thankfully Ancestry.com now has these records online, and I can make sure to acquire all the records, and with some help from Evidence Explained and Cradled in Sweden, I am putting together the master source and the source detail. The master surname list shows that I have over 1,500 unique surnames in my family file. If you want to work on individuals with a particular surname, you can highlight the surname and show the list. If you use Legacy's to-do list as your research journal, or to put together your to-do list for archives or library research, then you'll want to keep this category list up so that your to-dos are organized and ready when that research trip pops up. This is one of two things that does not make me happy in Legacy. Unless I'm missing something, I think the master to-do locality list should be part of the addresses list, and we should be able to sort it just like the master location list. I hate having to add these locations that I've already made a part of Legacy a second time. Now, on the other hand, I'm a huge fan of the to-do list. As you can see from the statistics and the list title, I have over 600 to-dos, and this includes both open and closed. I start my to-do with the date, and my to-dos always sort by date. However you put together your to-do list, be consistent and spell it out. Remember, you might not get back to a to-do for a month or a year, and you need to be able to recall what you had in mind when a research trip presents itself. Shorthand messages with little in the way of a description will just make more work for you. In the description, be specific. In the results, add them, and you can always copy and paste into other parts of Legacy or a separate note-taking system. I always include the location. It's very helpful when you get the chance to go to a particular research facility. And play with the sort order. Find what works for you and then print up your reports. It makes having a plan for the actual research so much easier. The last place we're going to check out today takes us back to those statistics. Clicking on the Reports ribbon and selecting Statistics Report brings up all kinds of stats. Let's take a quick look. You can scroll through the list of statistics, and when you highlight one of them, here, families with 10 or more children, the statistic says that there are 55 families that fit that description. You can click on the Create Search List tab, and Legacy will nag you to see if you want a new search list or you want to add this list to an existing one. It's just trying to help you and keep your stats clean. Within moments, I get a search list of everyone who had 10 or more children. Now, the search list contains 110 individuals. A little hint here. We have 55 mothers and 55 fathers, for a total of 110. I did that one in my head. And this works for any of the statistics in the report. I just asked Legacy for a search list of everyone with the 5th most popular male given name in my family file, and all the Patricks showed up in moments. There are 2 more places to bring up your file properties. The same report can be reached from the Help ribbon. Just click on File Properties. And our Legacy homepage lets us know a few of the important statistics and which version and build we have. Knowing the statistics and knowing the information behind the statistics is important. Legacy is simply giving us a brief summary of what we've done and reminding us that we have master lists and individuals who use them. Statistics are simply the numbers. There's lots of work behind those numbers. We add an individual or a family, and we have questions. We plan our research, do it, source it, write up our notes, analyze what we found, and draw some conclusions. And then we start all over again. It's great to be able to add ancestors and living family members to our family file. It's even better if these individuals are more than numbers, if we find out their stories and find them on documents and in images. Because while it's interesting to know the quantity, it's important to know what's behind those numbers, whether they are events, locations, surnames, sources, individuals, or marriages. Because quality is more important than quantity. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some source citations to work on, and more than a few individuals who need a bit more research as I improve the quality of my Legacy family file. How does your family file look, and what statistics and master lists are you going to focus on? Thanks for joining us each day during the month of October as we celebrate Family History Month by using the letters of the alphabet to learn more about our Legacy software and features. I'll see you back here tomorrow for the letter R.